Okay, Shannon, you could put us on the record now.
Okay.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is a matter of Jack Sheely. Mr. Brady's here from the prosecutor's office. And Mr. Brady, I have a question for you. I noticed when I dealt with this file last week that somebody here locally had set up a Jackson file number by mistake. And I think I've gotten that corrected. This is a Hillsdale case, and I'm actually sitting, even though I'm in my courtroom in Jackson, I'm actually sitting in Hillsdale County for purposes of this proceeding. But I was a little puzzled by the case number on the Hillsdale case. What is it? It looks like it has a couple extra digits in it, and I was a little confused. I just want to make sure we're putting the right file number on orders that I'm doing.
It looks to me like it was labeled 20-3505DL.
Well, the petition that I have that was sent up here from Hillsdale County had a case number of 18424244. Can I safely ignore that number?
Mr. Brandis might be able to explain this a little better than I know he deals with these numbers quite a bit, but that could be with reference to a previous file against him. I think they continue along with yeah.
Juvenile tracks with the same file number, Judge, regardless of any new petitions. Actually, I think the Hillsdale County number or whatever number was assigned should have that continuing file number from Jack and should indicate the actual number of the petition. In other words, if this is his third petition, it would be petition number 3. It should not have received file number.
All right. So the petition itself says it's petition number 3, and the case number that it bears is 1842-4244. It was just an odd number, and I was wondering if that was in error.
It is not, Judge. That's accurate.
Okay. So I should ignore that 203505 file number?
Correct.
Okay. Great, thank you. So I've started to introduce everyone. Mr. Brady for the prosecutor's office, Mr. Brandeis for juvenile. Jack is present. And we also have present Ms. Julie Wright and Ms. Maya Kavanaugh and Ms. Marcia Hammond, who is from Jackson Juvenile Probation. So our purpose of our hearing today is essentially a preliminary hearing on a violation of the conditions of Jack's release. And let me find that order.
Hey, Kevin, I'm in court right now.
I want to make sure I find the right one.
I'm going to attach that to the same complaint. Yeah.
Saw it the last time I looked at the file. Okay, I'm looking at the most recent order was my order of March 9, 2021. At that time, we ordered that Jack remain in the care and custody of DHHS pursuant to the Hillsdale NA order. And what has transpired since then as Jack has run away from that placement. So that's what he's being accused of today. And what I need to determine today is what we will do with Jack while we're waiting for our upcoming trial. And I apologize. I thought it was sometime in August. Does somebody else have that date handy?
It's August 19th.
Marcia?
I believe it's the 19th.
Yes, okay, sorry. It's August 19th at 2:00. That will be conducted live in Hillsdale. So assuming we don't have a resurgence of COVID, I anticipate that we will be able to move forward with that. So the question is what to do with Jack until then. My understanding is he's left his placement with his grandmother and is unwilling to go back there. Given that, and given that DHHS does not have another place for him, he's essentially without proper care and custody. I frankly don't see any other alternative in this under these circumstances than keeping him at Maurice Spears until the trial date. Mr. Brandeis, do you have any other suggestions for the court?
No, I wish I had another suggestion, Judge, but I don't. I understand that Jack left his grandmother. He says he was thrown out, had no place to go, but that still leaves him without placement. And I don't believe his grandmother is willing to take him back, nor does DHS believe that that's appropriate at this time. So I would ask that there be a continuing search for a less restrictive setting by DHS, but I really don't have the power to force that. The only other thing I'll throw out there, Jack raised something with me today he has not raised before. He would like to preserve his right, a constitutional right to a speedy trial. He believes that that constitutional right is being violated due to the fact it's not set for trial until August. I told him that I would mention that to the court. That can be brought up at any time. I also pointed out to him that by the time this trial strolls around, he will have other counsel, as I will be thoroughly retired by then. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, well, that's the earliest trial date that Hillsdale County was able to give me for me to conduct an in-person trial. I mean, if Jack wants to give up his right to an in-person trial, we could do a Zoom trial far sooner than that. But as was his right, he demanded an in-person trial, and that's the earliest date that Hillsdale County could give me to conduct an in-person trial. So, and Ms. Wright, remind me again, what's your capacity here?
I'm the foster care supervisor.
All right, and currently you do not still have a placement for Jack, a less restrictive placement than where he is right now?
No, we do not.
One thing that came up at the last hearing, Jack had asked whether he could be moved into, and I forget what you called it, Jack. What was the name of the other type of placement they have there?
Open unit, because if I'm gonna be here until I'm 18, if it's okay to me be placed in open unit.
So when I asked about the open unit at the last hearing, and someone from Maurice Spears was present, he said they've got a protocol that they go through to screen someone to make sure that he's suitable. I'm guessing the restrictions on his contact with persons under a certain age might itself prohibit them moving him to the open unit. But the other problem with the open unit is it's non-secure. So
Yes.
assuming we can get over the other hurdle, Jack, if I were to move you to the open unit, would you run away from it? I mean, what's your plan? Would you stay
No,
put?
no, Your Honor, I would not run. I have not ran from a single place. If I run, is because I gotten beaten or something that's not right. But I did get kicked out of my grandma's, and I did get kicked out of Tony Dowell's house. I never ran.
I would be open if he qualifies for Maurice Spears' open campus. I mean, he wasn't in a secure placement at his grandmother's, and I hear now that she booted him out, but I'm going to guess there's probably more to that story. In any event, I don't have a problem putting him in a less restrictive placement, provided he stays put, and I can make that a condition of his continuing in the non-secure portion down there. But again, he's got to go through their screening and qualify for that. And I'm going to guess that the condition of no contact with persons under, and I can't remember exactly the age, I think it's under 17, is going to, under 13?
Should be 13.
13
Okay.
without being supervised.
I don't have a problem putting in my order today that if Jack meets the screening for placement in the Maurice Spears open unit, that he can be placed there, provided they have to observe no unsupervised contact with persons under the age of 13. And then another condition is that Jack has to stay put. If you were to run from that placement, I'd issue another order, have you picked up, and at that point, I just have to keep you in the secure unit.
Yes, Your Honor.
We also need to make sure that the contract that they have with Maurice Spears includes the non-secure unit.
And I'm sorry, Marcia, your volume is really low. I'm having trouble hearing you.
We also need to make sure that the contract that Hillsdale County has with Maurice Spears includes the non-secure unit.
I can address that in my placement order. Assuming those hurdles can be met, I don't have a problem with Jack being in the open unit. We had him in a non-secure placement before, so that part doesn't trouble me, especially on his commitment to me that he will stay put. So I will craft an order that allows for that to happen, provided obviously it's within the contractual arrangement between Hillsdale County and Maurice Spears, that he meets the screening and that he commits to stay put so that he has a little more freedom than he has right now. Any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
I don't, Your Honor.
All right. I will get an order in place then. We'll try to get it down to them as soon as we can. And hopefully, Jack, I don't have any control over the contractual piece. I don't have any control over what their screening requirements are. But if you satisfy those, I'm okay with you moving to the open unit.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Okay, our next hearing will be the date set for trial, unless at some point Jack decides to ask for something other than an in-person trial. But I respect his right to demand an in-person trial. Okay, I will get an order ready and we'll get it out to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, take care, Jack.